So it's no secret that the tactical has the most variety when it comes to weapon options. I mean, there's what, like 6 or 7 different primaries they can choose from. Now, there's a few oddballs here and there, but one to me truly stood out as like, why would anybody use this, especially on a tactical, right? It was the Stalker Bolt Rifle. Now, this thing is a single shot DMR with a little scope on it, and I believe even the sniper has it, right? Now, since sniper has it, kind of tells you that this thing can be used as a long range, mid range option, high damage when it's leveled up, so on. But how many snipers have you seen with it? Probably none because their other options are far superior on damage. But I'm not gonna lie, if you're the kind of person that likes a DMR over a bolt action, this kind of weapon can do a lot for you. It's not something that screams I'm amazing at me. It's not overpowered. It's probably one of the more balanced weapons I've used in this game, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing at all. It's good to have something like this in the arsenal that's just fair. Very fair weapon. You get what you get out of it, and it'll show you what it can do. You just have to give it time, level it up, so on. Choosing the right variant helps. Just know that it's not going to be a plasma incinerator's worth of damage. It's going to be decent. It's not going to be that much, though, okay? Let's get it straight. Alright, so looking at the weapon itself, I think that this first variant here gives you extra magazine capacity and ammo reserves, probably the best one. This damage variant right here, kind of feel like it's a little bit of a trap, but if you like it more than the other one, go for it. When it came to actually putting up good damage numbers, this variant, because it has more ammo and more reserve, is the one that did it for me, so use whichever one you prefer. I didn't try the rate of fire one because didn't really see a point why I should. Perk tree though, top one. Really the defining factor was the headshots deal 10% more damage 2 times there, so 20% more damage. And this one right here for perfectly timed dodge. I know it doesn't come up all the time, but when it does come up and you hit it, a little bit more damage, especially in headshots, isn't really that bad. It's just kind of there. Don't really need it, but it's just nice to have. We pair that with the perks I have in here. This first one here that I really want to point towards is after a gun strike, more range damage. This version right here, this perk, can make this, okay, this weapon can be made really, really strong with this perk, but I still think that the one that I was telling you about, this variant, this one right here, a little bit better. You can make this one good for it too, with a little bit extra damage, but you want ammo. You don't want this thing to run out. Take the one with more bullets in it, and then, if you need to look at the tree again, here you go. I'm not running through them all, but I like more contested health regains, so I use this one here for the team perk, and of course signature. Who doesn't, like, what tactical does not use this? Alright, it's just too good. Pistol though? Yeah, standard stuff. Accuracy variant, perk tree, there you go. Fencing chainsword, because why else, why use anything else? You know what I mean? Things get a little weird in this tree, but I just wanted as much damage as I can get. So I went for a little bit of spice here at the end. I didn't go all the way, because I didn't feel like these last perks are that worth it, truth be told. I was pleasantly surprised by how this thing functions. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I only tried it against the Tyranids because, I just didn't feel like fighting chaos, I guess. I don't know. But against Tyranids, this thing slaps, alright? Now, for a good chunk of the footage, you'll see I use the highest damage variant. You can usually tell because the ammo counters and stuff. I wanted to use both the higher damage one and the one with the ammo reserves and so on. So there's a little bit of both sprinkled in here, but for a large portion of this, even though I said the weapon was a trap, I used the higher damage version of it, just to really understand, does it do more damage or what? I still think that it doesn't really matter which one you choose, because, guy like me, I'm always going to be running out of ammunition. That's just how the cookie crumbles. It's how this shit works. But honestly, the ammo reserve variant does go further, in my opinion. It does a little bit more damage output because it has more ammo, and it's only like, what, one less damage? So it's not a huge damage difference at the end of the day. The rate of fire one, I didn't even bother with because why? I don't even know why that's a variant. I could see why they would want to, but the only thing that is changed on it is the rate of fire. There's nothing else on it. I don't understand that thing. It's just one of those, like, oh, here it is. Just use the top two ones, either better ammo or better damage. To be fair, though, the ammo one, like, okay, the ammo one does do more. I don't know if it's like damage overall, DPS, whatever, right? But at the end of the games, I would be seeing my damage numbers be a lot better with the ammo reserves and better ammo capacity variant rather than the one with 12 plus damage. And I can only assume that that is because I actually had the ammo to use. I actually was able to, fight for longer to put out more damage, which just makes sense. But to be fair, I miss a fuck ton of shots. If you're just Mr. Perfect Aim, then you have nothing to worry about. Either way, you're gonna do just fine, but guy like me, like I can aim on them, but I have a problem with just the shot cadence. Like I spam shots more than I should a lot of the time with weapons like these. And, if it has a high recoil, it doesn't help my scenario because I just spam it. So in reality, I should be slowing down, my pacing and everything, but I don't wanna. So if you're gonna end up using this thing, I recommend on tactical at least to use the ammo one, but the damage one is good. If you were gonna use this on sniper, I mean, I don't know which one's the best for them. It's probably whichever one does the most damage, honestly, so damage variant. But this is all tactical we're talking here. I didn't try it on sniper because they have way too many good options as it is. Same with tactical to be fair, but you know, you kind of get what I mean with the damage differences on a bolt action rifle and a las fusil is quite different than Stalker Bolt Rifle. When it comes to the tacticals weapons, like I said earlier, it's the most fair that I've seen. It's not gonna, carry you all the way all the time, but if your aim is true, you'd be surprised what this thing can do. Truth be told, it did surprise me with the amount of damage it can put out. Would I take it over my plasma incinerators or the bolt rifle with the grenade launcher on it? The stuff that's really, really strong? Probably not, because I just don't like DMRs. That's me, though. I would rather prefer a bolt action than I would a semi-automatic kind of rifle. But this thing, it deserves at least a little bit of respect, because it chunks, alright? I'm not gonna lie, the thing can put out some good damage on neurothropes, carnifexes, all that. It's just about, did you get a good scan on them? Whatever. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that tactical has to worry about in that regard. So, just kind of factor all that in if you're gonna use this thing. It's kind of all important, honestly. Now, if you're feeling that the weapon itself doesn't hit super, super hard, I recommend trying to abuse your weapon perks for the perfect dodges and the one where you get a gun strike and also get more damage on it. I don't know how much you're actually going to get when they're both up, if they can even both proc, but it is a good chunk of damage. It's reasonable to say that it is where your main damage will be coming from if you actually know how to use that stuff. I mean, it's really easy to just farm gun strikes with just a running melee attack, right? And perfect dodges, you can do those, instead of a parry. So it kind of depends on what you can do in what scenario, but these two perks working together paired along with the top tray on the weapon itself, giving you a bunch more headshot damage. Well, a bunch, like 20%. Everything adds up, is what I'm trying to get at. When you start stacking all these odds in your favor, you start seeing the weapon shine just that little bit brighter. Now, granted, I don't think it needs it, but honestly, every little bit helps, right? Who's going to say no to extra damage just for basically playing the game normally? Because that's kind of how I look at it is gun strikes come normally, perfect dodges, you have to do those at certain points against certain enemies. So after you do these things for 5 seconds, you're at least a little bit beefier on the damage output, which why would you not want to do that? Granted, some hoops have to be jumped through, but they're not super hard, alright? Like I said on the gun strike thing, if you have any fodder around there, just run and hit the melee on them, and they get knocked down. That's a gun strike. Win-win. You know, dodges are really easy to do. It's the same, whole thing. Like, okay, it's the same kind of concept as, like, if you want to go for the gun strike on the parry, why not do a perfect dodge instead? I don't know. It comes down to what you feel is the most convenient, natural, blah, blah, blah. How many of you guys are really going to use this thing? Honestly, I doubt a lot of people use this gun because it's not crazily overpowered. It's like fair, like I've been trying to get across to you. It's just a weapon in your arsenal to be used as you see fit. Mid to long range tool, but you could also kind of get close with it and just aim for the head like normal. You see results with that stuff, but it's just a matter of like, will you stop using your meltas? Will you stop using, the grenade launcher bolt rifles, the plasma incinerators? I mean, hell, I even think the bolt carbine, the little SMG, is just as good as this, but it can probably be, I don't know, maybe like a few numbers off of damage, but like they're kind of the same vibe. So I don't know. If you want something that's a little faster fire rate, you'd use the bolt carbine, its DMR variant, but this thing's chunkier. Stalker Bolt Rifle just hits a little bit harder, probably. Truth be told, I didn't sit here and compare them. This is through pure feeling of the two weapons. Since I've used both of them now, I can kind of tell just by off of what it was like, but truth be told, numbers could say a different thing. Although, how can I trust the numbers whenever the higher damage variant isn't putting out more damage than the higher ammo variant? I guess, you need to just kind of test things rather than just go by, numbers on the sheet, what people say. Test things out for yourself and see if it actually feels decent, feels like shit, whatever. There's so many options in here, like, you don't have to use this thing, but for the people that will try it out and may even like it, yeah, there's a few ways to make it work. Like I said, with the perks, maybe even try it on sniper. I don't know. I only did it on tactical. I only did it against the Tyranids. Your mileage may vary. That's kind of one of the most important things there is what I can do with it may not be the same as what someone else can do with it, and so on. Like, someone could be way better than me with this weapon, which wouldn't be very hard. I don't use it very well. I kind of just use it as, like, we have sniper at home, so, like, the pistol goes to the fodder, and the bolt rifle goes straight to Majoris and up. If you think about it, though, if you're going for the whole perfect balance in a loadout, it's probably one of the better options for tactical in that respect. If you're going for, like, chainsaw does all the melee, your pistol does, whatever you need it to do, fodder killing, whatever, right? And then you have the primary weapon for anything larger than that. Anything larger than, a Hormigaunt, a Xanagor, whatever. It's just like playing a sniper, honestly, but you have a chainsword instead. And a few different perks, obviously, but same vibe. If you like to play as a sniper, this would fit your playstyle pretty easily, I would say. But you could do it on tactical as well, which, not too shabby in my opinion. I like to have multiple options for stuff like that. But, like I mentioned earlier, how many people are really going to use the weapon? A lot of people, like myself, will use it one time and they're like, what the fuck is this damn thing? Put that damn thing away and then go back to having fun with whatever the hell else they use. It's only a natural reaction to something that feels a little odd at first, right? That's just me, no DMR guy here. I respect them, sure, but like it has to be a special DMR for me to like it. You know, like we're talking Halo Reach DMR, alright? You know, stuff like that just tickles the pickle, you know what I mean? But this thing, yeah, it's alright. It's good, but it won't have me coming back for seconds. I'm not gonna call her up the next day and be like, yo, you up? I'm gonna let that number rot in the phone, if you know what I mean, okay? It's just not how it's gonna go. I would much rather use something else, personally speaking. But that doesn't mean this weapon is bad. It's just another tool in the arsenal to use. Has a lot of utility with it being, you know, so rangy. If you need something rangy, there you go. It's just how it is. But not all the time will you need something to go that far. Sometimes you just want close range stuff. I mean, hell, you see me dressed as World Eater, right? Using a longer range weapon. They're known for their close range. What the hell am I doing, right? I mean, I use it for close range. It doesn't matter what you fucking do with this thing. When it comes to distance, it's gonna hit. So close, far, middle, doesn't matter. Use it how you see fit, alright? I will say this weapon did earn some brownie points for me whenever I saw how quick it can kill zoanthropes and, you know, enemies like that. It's just, you know, sometimes with like carnifexes and stuff, you have to jump through a few extra hoops to get that kind of damage, but zoanthropes, neurothropes, way, way more consistent to just dog on them with this kind of gun than it is a carnifex that runs around everywhere, you know, and it won't stand still, so you can scan it, whatever. Zoanthropes, I mean, you can just one tap them with your scan if you have that off cooldown, because of the whole, you know, marked for death perk or whatever it's called. But when you don't have that, you still fry them like crazy in a scan, obviously, with this weapon. I think it takes like 2 or 3 shots to get them executable. Maybe 4 maximum. I feel like 4 or 5 is the limit when they're not scanned, so, you know, do with that what you will, you know? Kind of. Okay. These numbers, I can sit here and throw numbers at you all day, right? But, like, unless you sit there and use it for yourself, you won't feel how great it is to delete zoanthropes and stuff with the weapon. You just kind of like, oh yeah, it does it like this. Get in there and see how it is, because that was the one thing that convinced me to keep using it for as long as I did, which, mind you, was only like a day or two. I didn't want to sit here and use this thing for way too long, because I don't have fun using a DMR like this, okay? I'll sit here and say it like 8 times, alright? But it does have utility. It's a tool in the arsenal, okay? It's something that you bust out when you need it, when you feel like you may need it in a mission, whatever. If you don't have a sniper and you want something like that out here, just to fit the team, by all means, you know. We have sniper at home is what this weapon basically is. The tactical, it's a little special on him because of the extra like penetration through the first perk we have, where like bolt weapons penetrate one extra target. Helps with the whole colliding and whatnot. It can be good when warriors spawn inside each other and you can just delete 2 for the price of 1, but how often is that really going to happen? Not very often. It really is just for the fodder, the hormagaunts, and your pistol, for the most part, so that you can just mow through all of them and just go to town wherever you see fit. When it boils down right to it, the Stalker Bolt Rifle just kind of is good at seasoning, you know, good at hitting the targets with just enough damage that your gun strikes kill, you know, your melees do it, whatever. Truth be told, it's hard for me to kind of try and gas up a weapon type I just don't vibe with, you know? Like, if I'm gonna be honest with you, homie, not really in the books for me ever to use DMRs and the like, but, you know, I like to try these new things out and see if they actually are worth a shit or not. So, you know, here we are with a decent weapon, and depending on the variant you choose, you can actually put out really good amounts of damage. I think the highest I got to was like the 20-ish K mark. With the higher damage, quote unquote, version of it, I could barely even break 15,000 with it. I think I got 16k once. I try out the other variant with the more ammo, instantly 18,000. So if you like the numbers, there you go. There's a little bit of numbers for you. I'll show them at some point. But yeah, man, it's just not my kind of weapon, but it might be perfect for you. So I urge you to try it out, see what you think. Maybe have a little bit of fun with it if you like it, but if you don't enjoy it, just put it down. Like, who cares, right? There's plenty more options, plenty more weapons to choose from. Just go have fun with something else. It's that easy.